This next video being brought to you by Ashe Creations. Follow Ashe Creations on Instagram at Ashe Creation Graphics. That's for your t-shirt apparel and custom design needs.
We got people ducking me all the way up to 140 now, fellas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling y'all need to pay attention. We got people ducking all the way up to 140. I'm a 126 pounder. Come on, man. They should easily be able to knock me out. I'm 126. You want me to shut up, put me in the ring, and come knock me out? You don't hear these motherfuckers talking that shit about me.
All right, Dre Spector Boxing here with another video. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell notification. That way you stay updated on the latest content as I add it to the channel. All right, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. Is he real deal or is he clout? Like, is this all cap? As you can see, he did the interview with Barbershop Conversation the other night. I was present in that interview, watched it through its entirety. Went back, watched a couple key points. Shout out to Fred from Barbershop Conversations for bringing him on. Man, that was a great interview. I really do enjoy when he do have some of the top boxers that do come to the channel. And I was really with Gary Russell when he came. Like, I was on his side. I like what he was doing. He started calling out a couple fighters. He started calling out Tank. Called out Leo Santa Cruz. Called out Loma Chico. Called out Devin Haney. And I was following him. I was with him. It just got a little strange when the next name he called out, I think it was Adrian Broner. He called out Adrian Broner, and he said he'll fight him at 140. And then, you know, that sound kind of bizarre because I can't see it happening. I guess I can't see it. I couldn't visualize it. Then he went on to say he was calling out Mikey Garcia. And it was because of I guess he feels slighted. Mikey Garcia commented about him about the situation with him putting his hands around Leo Santa Cruz's father. And Mikey, I guess, made some type of comment. He didn't like it. So his response is he'll fight Mikey Garcia now. And he said he'll fight Mikey Garcia at 135, 140. And he'll even come up to 147 and fight him. But again, you're losing me again. You'll come to 147 and fight him. And I know Mikey ain't going back down there to 135. He said he feel comfortable at 147. He can get big fights and big money. So I don't think he's coming back down there to fight you. So then the next thing he did is he mentioned an altercation between himself and Terence Crawford back in 2008 at the Olympic training facility. And I'm not going to go through the whole story, but it was over a friend of his that was boxing in a sparring match. And in that sparring match, he got the best of Terence Crawford got the best of him at first, bragged about it. Friend didn't like it, told Gary Russell, came back, said the next time that he fought Terence Crawford, he was going to really get after it. Fought Terence Crawford again. They had some new headgear, and they had what was called, that was, I guess, judging the points that was scoring on the headgear. Then they had a mercy rule. His friend, Gary Russell's friend, ended up sparring Terence Crawford again. Gave him the mercy rule, which got up big up on him on points, and they stopped the match. And I guess people were clowning Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford didn't like it. Went over there and asked Gary Russell how he seen it. Gary Russell said he seen it like I guess everybody else seen it. Terence Crawford took offense. Gary Russell said he then hit Terence Crawford because he didn't like the way that he was talking to him. So he said he punched him. It was only one punch thrown. He didn't give details on the altercation. Well, he didn't give very detailed. He just said one punch was thrown. And then he led me to believe that Terence Crawford had to seek medical attention afterwards. That's all he said. So that's where the notion comes in that he broke Terence Crawford's jaw. He never said that, but that's what he's leading people to believe. I don't think that happened. I don't know if it happened or if it didn't happen. In any case, I started looking at it funny because I'm like, well, what happened in that situation? That's why did you were so detailed until you got to the punch. You didn't say what happened. Did they grab y'all, broke y'all up? He didn't get detailed on the fight, but he was very detailed leading up to that. And then he said, all I'm going to say is one punch was thrown. It was by me. I punched him in the face, and then he had to seek medical attention. So it's either one thing happened, because I don't know no boxer that wouldn't retaliate if he gets punched in the face. But it leads me to believe that you hit him when he didn't know, like off guard, or either you hit him and people broke y'all up. Y'all didn't have a fight. It sounds like you just hit him. And to brag on hitting somebody and you didn't actually fight him, you didn't give him his one-on-one. That right there, I don't give you kudos because you can punch somebody. Anybody can punch somebody. Somebody can punch me right now in the face. You little Gary, I'm 6'2", 250. Somebody can punch me in the face and break my jaw. If I'm not paying attention, I'm not looking, I'm not defending myself. That can happen to anybody. I don't give you no kudos because you punched somebody in the face, man. It just looked a little shady to me, a little shaky. So he was losing me there. See, I was with Gary Russell, calling out these guys, puffing out his chest. I'm like, he talking big shit. But then I had to look at what is his agenda? What is he trying to gain from this? Why now? This is a fighter that's been inactive. He only fights once a year, and they throw this notion that he's the longest reigning champion. But the guy fights once per year, every year. So it's not like he's a very active fighter and he's just going through fighters and nobody can beat him. He's not really fighting. And I start to look at what is his agenda doing this interview now. So let me, because I can get through these smoke and mirrors. Leo Santa Cruz and Tank Davis just announced their pay-per-view fight for a couple months from now, a few months from now. I think in October. Sounds like jealousy. These are two guys he's been barking at saying he wanted to fight for the longest. He didn't get that payday. He's not getting no big fights. And I think it's his own fault. I think it's his team fault. But I don't think that he should be blaming anybody besides himself. He needs to be pointing a finger at himself and his team. Because they haven't tried anything different. They haven't done anything different. And they expected for different results. Now, I was following him. But I can't follow him all the way up to 147. When in the same breath, in the same interview, he said right now he's only 138 pounds. He's barely above lightweight. Right now, and he's not in camp. This is his walk around weight. He's 138 pounds. And you want me to believe that you're going up to 147 to fight Terence Crawford? To fight Adrian Broner at 140 or whatever you said? Or to fight Mikey Garcia, you going up to 147 to fight these guys? Man, I do not believe it. I'm not believing in that hype. You're not selling me no wolf. I can see, let me tell you something. You're not finna sit up there and misdirection, play that misdirection game with me. He got a lot of people. And he got a lot of people on his side. It's a lot of chat warriors who's going to bat for him. But I wasn't one of those. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I was following. Yeah, I like that shit. I like you calling out all these other fighters. But when you get to trying to sell me bullshit and I can see his cap, no, I'm not following you off the cliff, fam. I'm not following you off the cliff. Everybody else took that cliff dive and went right with him off the cliff. He about to beat everybody's ass now. Nah, man. That's cap. That's all cap. That's for clout. He's looking for a payday. Even when he called out Devin Haney and he's saying that he's going through negotiations and Devin Haney and them didn't get back to him. When Bill got on that line, came right into the interview, Barbershop Conversations, came right into the interview and told him, nah, man, ain't nobody ducking you. We'll fight you. You price yourself out. He didn't give a figure, and I was wondering why he was very adamant. He didn't want nobody to know the numbers of his private message. And I understand, you don't want people in your business and your money wise or whatever. But they made a statement. Bill Haney asked Gary Russell Jr., that figure that you gave me, would that be the highest that you've ever made in your career? And he said, yeah, without a doubt. But it'll also be your son's, Devin Haney, highest amount that he's ever made in his career too. So he's looking for a payday, man. And this was all for clout. And he got a lot of people with it because it sounds good. And it builds fights. And I'm all with that. But I'm all with that to a certain degree. I'm all with that when it's reality. When it's in the realm of reality. He can make fights at 130, so call those guys out. You can make fights at 135, so call those guys out. You cannot make fights at 140, 147. That's clout. Because if you are going to make a fight at 147, it's a sacrifice. You just going up there to, for a payday, a money grab, because you got a little name. But who in their right mind gonna really take that fight serious? It's levels to this. It's fight weight classes for a reason. 126 pounders cannot compete with those guys at 147 pounds. They're usually smaller guys. Gary Russell is a very small guy. My guy is like 5'2" or 5'3" or some shit. Let's be serious, man. Let's really be serious. He cannot stand up there with those guys. When Gamboa had to fight with Terence Crawford, what was his problem? He was too small. Terence Crawford was fighting him at lightweight, and Gamboa was a 126 pounder. It's a reason that they got weight classes. Those smaller guys cannot compete with those bigger guys. So it's like, and you gradually walk your way up. You don't jump your way up. You don't fly up. You have to take steps, get acclimated. That's why if you ever heard my videos, you'll hear me say you have to get acclimated to the class. But you're not finna sit up and sell me wolves and make me believe that you just finna take on the world. You might have all the heart in the world, but you know better. You ain't stupid. You ain't dumb. So this shit, once it got past 135, let me tell you, I'm with Gary Russell Jr. all the way to 135 because I think that's the cap in his career. He's not going to fight past 135 pounds in his career. I can guarantee you that. He's not going to fight past 130 because he'd be outmatched versus anybody who's way bigger than him at 147. So if I think that he's going to jump up there he don't have the frame, he don't have the size to jump up to 147 and challenge these guys. I'm sorry. That's just the reality of the situation. So I'm with him as long as we stay in reality. Put the pressure on the guys that you can really make fights with. But also, stay active. Let me see you fight. We forget about him all the time. Why? Because he fights once a year. So don't come out here selling these tickets, these wolf tickets, and thinking everybody gonna buy. Don't come out here leading us all off the cliff with you. Because you had some chat warriors that was really behind you, but I ain't one of them. I can call a spade, and I'll call you out on your bullshit. That's bullshit. Anything past 135, he not fucking with. Gary Russell Jr. puffed out his chest, beat on his chest like King Kong. But I'm not I'm not buying what he's selling. Anything past 135, nah. And his problem is he need to go back to with his team, find out a different scenario, a different way, because he been barking up that Leo Santa Cruz tree for a while. He was barking up the Tank tree for a while. He can't get those fights. Those guys are doing what they want to do, and when he couldn't get those fights, all he do is cry about it instead of taking a different approach. Fight somebody else, move up and wait. You have to stay active. You cannot just sit there and do nothing and expect for everybody to just bend to your will and say that they gonna fight you. Be active. Get a name. What do you have to bring to the table, sir? The true boxing fans know Gary Russell Jr., but let's be real. He not a household name. And that's no knock on Gary. An absolute great fighter. He's just not a household name. We don't know him. There's not a lot of publicity leading up to his fight. Not a lot of promotion. He don't have commercials. It may be local. It's not national. It's damn surely ain't international. As long as he's been in a pro. If he wanted, he gonna have to find a different way to get it. He has one of the greatest advisors in his corner, Al Heyman. Why is he going over there to Bill Haney asking him to take a contract to Eddie Hearn when you have Al Heyman? Why isn't Al Heyman getting in touch with Eddie Hearn on your behalf? You gotta sit up there and you gotta look through. You gotta look see through the smoke and mirrors. And I can see through that bullshit. You not finna just sell me no bullshit. I was all with you until you start trying to lead me off a cliff, and I can't get with that. But let me know what you guys think about it. How do y'all feel about Gary Russell, the interview? Is he the real deal, or is this shit all cap? Me, I think he the real deal until he gets to past 135, and all the rest of that shit is cap. But in any case, he did all that interview. He did everything he did for clout chasing. Hey, that's Dre Spector. That's all I got for you, and I'm out.